Okay, so greetings from Govardhan. Today, I don't know, I'm talking to them and also you at the same time. I have this huge audience of people here. So it's a little, so I'm talking to, so I'm going to have to catch them up on where we're at. So I'll be speaking to them and also to you. And it's a coincidence because all these people here are going to the kirtan tonight. It's a Kadasi. How many people here are going to the kirtan tonight? Quite a few people, like more than half. So it's actually a kind of a popular non-denominational event in Vrindavan, the Kadasi Kirtan. It starts, what time does it start?
They say like about 9:30, 10 it starts.
Yeah, about 10.
Vinod Baba doesn't come until.
Yeah, 10, and then the author of what we've been studying comes about 12:30. And I went last year, and it was really a treat. Powerful kirtan, nice Vaishnavas, Barsana. So, so by coincidence, I happened to be teaching or this book. I somehow found it, I think, years ago. Yeah, it's a very high quality printed book. I had this years ago, and I found it very, very powerful because it's a story that's kind of applicable to all of us, with the exception that I give the exception that when you're very pure, you're more sensitive. For example, if I gave the example, if you keep your room spotlessly clean, then, that type of person, any piece of dirt is a disturbance. If you keep it messy, then it doesn't. If you have a very clean glass of water, a speck of dirt seems significant. So this is obviously written by someone who is, renounced from the world completely and been chanting, like 9 hours a day, usually not public. He was hiding in different pieces of brudge. So on that level of trying to, it's like someone comes to Krishna consciousness, you don't get into the little details of it. It's not important to them. They still haven't done this, they still haven't done this. But as you advance in Krishna consciousness, you want to move further and further, it becomes more and more subtle. Just like we're studying because I have three different classes, which one? The Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And it's the second book. And in the second book, the focus is on explaining how Goloka Vrindavan is the highest place. And Mother Uttara is the one that really wants to hear this. In the first book, she heard that the gopis are the most glorious. And now she wants to hear further about the place itself. So first she's describing elevated places in the universe in a comparative study. So she describes this one process that's in the second canto, that when a yogi wants to ascend and go higher and higher, there's a mechanical process that they can take to where they go through the different layers of the universe. And the layers of the universe are described, our universe is described 4 billion miles in diameter. Then Earth, water, 40 billion miles an hour. Then earth, water, fire, 4,000 billions, and it goes on. So the universe is covered. And there's the different elements that is covered, and the elements represent different objects of the senses. Earth represents fragrance, it's unique to it. Water represents taste, doesn't have fragrance. Earth, water, fire. Fire represents sight, it doesn't have taste or fragrance. Air represents sound, it doesn't have sight, it doesn't have taste, doesn't have fragrance. And then ether, wind, air is feeling. Then you have ether, you can't feel it, it's just, so it goes more and more subtle. That's why, so the yogi goes through all that, and he gets to have the last bit of enjoyment in each thing. So you can imagine you go through the earth, water, taste. You got to get through, it's the fire, visuals. What to speak of air, sensual. Then the ether, sound, So it's subtle, and as you go up, you can drop more and more things. So it gets more and more subtle as you advance. So he's very sensitive, wanting to attain the pure name, Taramadye Sarva Shreshne Nama Sankirtan Nira Aparade Poya Paya Premadan. Of all the process of devotional service, chanting is the best. And one who does that without offense, if you do that without offense, then you can easily attain Krishna Prem. So this is like his main kind of militant focus in all different aspects of approaching the name without offense. In chanting, what's the taste of chanting? The taste of chanting is our relationship with Krishna. And that requires our focus on Krishna, our love for Krishna, and his reciprocation, as in any relationship. Let's say, someone goes on a date, and they're sitting there, and the guy's sitting there, the girl's sitting there, and there's like no chemistry. It's like the most boring night in your life, where you're completely in anxiety, But if somehow one person is focused and he reveals themselves, and the other person, so that's the taste with the holy name. The holy name is a person, and the taste of the holy name is the revelation of that person and the love that's felt in that relationship. That's why people actually can chant always. It's not mechanical. It's not. It's a relationship. Susukam kartam avyayam, which is blissful, because love is the only activity you can do forever. Because every other activity has an objective. So the pleasure is not the activity; it's the objective of the activity. Like if you have the process of jnana, it's moksha. The process is tortuously and arduous and austerity. And jnana and karma, it's the fruit of the activity, not the activity itself. But the very nature of bhakti, it can't have a cause or an objective. Because to have a cause or an objective, it's not bhakti. So bhakti is pleasurable, susukam kartam avyayam. It's pleasurable within itself. So people get to that platform. But you have to, you have to at least be respectful. Otherwise you get nothing out of the person. You have to be attentive. Otherwise you get nothing out of the person. And ultimately, there has to be some sambandha, some love, some relationship. And then there's some flavor in that. So it's offense, aparad. Apa means distant, rada means worship, that distance you from worship, as opposed to upasana. Or radha is worship, but upasana. Apa means distance, upa means near. Upasana means worship. What does it mean? You sit on a seat, but upasana, you're near. And it's not just physically near, it's near in consciousness. So it's kind of really detailed, even different aspects, even gets to the thing, not just devotees, everyone. Nice devotee, he'll be going tonight, is Sabyasachi. And I remember when I went with him we did Nirjala Ekadasi, we went to, in the summer, we went to Vinod Baba. And we went to the Kirtan. But before that, we were doing Nirjala, and we did Barsana Parikram. We walked all the way around Barsana. And then he started sharing realizations. He started sharing very deep. David, you'll be staying with him. If he opens up, he has very, very deep realizations. He don't like to give class. So he does, actually. So he shared this one thing to me, and I was explaining it yesterday when I had class, is that there's one instrument that expresses emotions, and it's called the heart. And it's used materially, it's used spiritually. So he was giving the example, if you use the heart for envy, for lust, for anger, and all these things, that same instrument will not be suitable for emotions to God. And he gave the example, it's just like if you're doing rock music and then you're the same instrument, you're going to be in a orchestra, it's got to be tuned differently. Or if you're cooking, some salty things and you want to make some sweet rice, you can't use the same pot, or you can use the pot, but it has to be cleaned. So he's very, so even he says, you shouldn't offend non-devotees. He goes so far, and even if someone criticizes you, if you think bad of them, it's very, very, and then he goes, what do you do when you commit offense to someone, and you have to beg forgiveness, and then he goes into it's very beautiful. He goes into so many detailed things, but it's very, very detailed. Let me see if I was going to make some point here. Yeah. Anyway, so it's the disciple is just go, I might as well give up, because he's trying, because he comes to the guru and he says, I've left my family, I've came to Vrindavan, I'm chanting all the time, and now all of a sudden now I'm not feeling it, I'm not getting any taste. And the guru said, well, that's simple. And then he begins to explain offense, aparad, and of the aparads, he specifically focuses on sadhu ninda, criticism. Because he says the others, they can break the branches of the tree of bhakti, but criticism can uproot it. And he won't give an inch. Then he says, and the disciple says, well, what if, you're dealing with a very saintly person? And the nature of a saintly person is he doesn't take offense. Even if someone is doing something to him, he's thinking, what did I do to cause it? So he doesn't take offense. So he's already forgiven me. But then he says, no, in that case, no, Krishna. He says, the dust of his feet will not forgive you. You'll offend the people who love him. You'll offend God. It won't work in that case. So he goes on and on. There's so many different things. And then now this is like the conclusion. he speaks so many things. It's not really the conclusion because after he hears this, he's oh my God, I can't do this. I mean, avoid criticism. It's my life because I have false ego in this world, and the false ego in this world, it wants to experience the nectar of superiority. So it's got to be. So you got to self-promote, and you got to put people down constantly. And then you got to get joy when one other competitor is fallen. This is the nature of the world. We love it. If you think you don't do it, then stop it for a day. And then you realize how much that this is in your heart. So now he's saying so many things, so it's not going to conclude because the guy's going to say, oh, no, and then he's going to tell him, I think today we'll get to this, what your consciousness has to be to counteract this material constitutional position of false ego that just makes us criticize others and enjoy it. That's also, you can't hear it either. So he said, hence, if we want to gain Mahaprabhu's mercy, we must refrain from ninda. Ninda means criticism. Moreover, when we do ninda, we accept the other person's bad qualities and our good qualities flow through him. Understand this, if you somehow become the object of criticism, then or if you're being criticized, then that person accepts he accepts the qualities that he's criticizing in you. And whatever good qualities you have, flow to you. This is if someone's criticizing you, they're benedicting you. Actually, they're benedicting you because they're taking all your bad qualities. Just like Professor here. You ever read The Apology by Plato?
Oh yeah, that was my dad. He gave that to me when I was a little boy. So memorize this.
And the best part is, he preached to the youth. The government became suspicious. They became envious. And they sentenced him to death. He just wanted to speak to the assembly. And he looked at the assembly and said, if you think you can harm me, you will not harm me, you'll only harm yourself. Because what harms someone is when they go against Dharma. So if someone's criticizing you, they're going against Dharma. They'll only harm themselves. And if you respond with dignity, they won't harm you, they'll only harm themselves. So he said, Ninda, then he quotes from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Ninda is useless, it only results in sin. He who does not indulge in ninda is blessed indeed. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you don't engage in this, you're blessed. And the Guru continues, if you truly want to receive Bhakti Devi's Kripa, we must carefully refrain from criticizing others. Otherwise, in spite of performing sadhana, we shall be bereft of Bhakti Devi's Kripa. Sri Gaur Sundar lifted both his hands and called out to the world at large. This is Chaitanya Bhagavat. Be anundak. Ninda is criticism. Nindak is one who criticizes. Anindak. Be one who doesn't criticize. And chant the holy name of Krishna. If you are a ninduk and carefully chant the holy name, I pledge firmly unto you that I shall deliver you. This one thing can change your whole spiritual life. And when you try to stop it, you'll see how much you enjoy it, how much you do. It's, if we fix our gaze on this declaration of Mahaprabhu, he will most certainly shower his mercy on us, harbor no doubt about it. When you go today, you'll see that these people there have this mood. The whole congregation are Vaishnavas. This is what Vaishnava is. So now the disciple says, now I know why. In spite of chanting the holy name so many times, I'm not progressing in bhakti. The saddest part of my life is that I forsake everything. My home, luxury, wife, children, relatives, but I could not give up criticizing others. Please tell me, how can I rescue myself from this miserable state? This has happened throughout the thing. He tells him, keep your head down, absolutely don't talk anything but Krishna. I mean, he gives him all these, if someone think, he gives him, a list of, so he keeps on, how can I do this? And then Mahaprabhu had said in this context, Gaur Kripa, his guru, says, I tell you there is one but truth. You've committed many aparads unknowingly, but henceforth, if you never ever commit criticism and constantly glorify Sri Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, then these aparads will leave you. This is the only means to get out of this trouble. Even if you perform crores of penances, you will not be cleansed. The difference between bhava and prema is traces of Vaishnava aparad. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he's quoting, says, whoever does not obey this command and still commits criticism is verily a sinner and floats in the ocean of misery. When someone indulges in ninda of my servant, my all-powerful holy name destroys him. I have countless servants in infinite universes. Whoever is envious of a single one of them surely perishes. Vivek, now I understand that it's not enough to avoid namaparad alone. I have to be very careful about ninda also. Please have mercy on me and show me some light on the blocks in bhakti and how to remove them. So now he gives a very interesting thing, Gaur Kripa. He says, if you want to really avoid this criticism, which is based on this false ego that we have to reorient your consciousness. And in reorienting your consciousness, you have to see God in everyone. And you have to walk around like that. The goal of our life is to obtain God. If we are firm on this point and we are striving hard to progress in bhakti, then first of all, we must be aware that God exists in every element. God exists in every element. This is the beginning of sadhana and also the end. Sadhana begins with Jibe Saman Dibe Jane Krishna Adishtan. We must respect every living being since Krishna dwells in each and every one of them. That is the beginning of sadhana. Very difficult, grow up in the West where there's not this culture, Where I grew up from, you express love to people by insulting them. I swear to God. I come from New York. There's a famous cartoon you'll like this, Dave, about New York. There's one picture of LA, right? And there's a guy with the sunglasses and he's smiling, right? And the line and the bubble means what you say, and the dot and the bubble means what you think. So he says, have a nice day. and the bubble says, go to hell. And then there's a picture of New York, and the New York guy says, go to hell, and the bubble says, have a nice day. It's true. That's part of the culture of New York. You express your affection for people by insulting them.
Same in Australia.
What?
Same in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the beginning. We must respect every living being. No, I think Australians have a nice day. And how does sadhana end? Jahan netri pade tahan Krishna. Krishna reveals himself wherever we glance. Wherever we glance, Krishna reveals. And in the Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam, the 4 nutshell verses, the third one describes Priyojana Tattva. What is the goal? And it says, you see God in everything, outside and inside of everything. Because what's the illusion? The illusion is that something's separate from God. And why do you have that illusion? Because you want that superiority. You can't have superiority in reality. You can only have superiority in illusion. So when you want that sense of superiority, then you're put in illusion. And what's the illusion? That things are separate from God, so I can have the sense of control and possessiveness. But when you become liberated and you become pure and you have prema and you have love, there's no maya. You see God and you feel God everywhere. Prabhupada said one who's Krishna conscious is thrilled every moment. All Shastras have repeatedly mentioned this fact. It is impossible to obtain God if we're not aware that God exists in every element. And now he quotes from the Gita. But the main thing is you see the bhav, because this is realized. This is people who have sambandha, they have relationship with the holy name, they're feeling the holy name. So this is what their realization is of all their practices to get to that platform. Actually, I once went, when I went to Vinod Baba, I went with this person who knew him. So he does his bhajan from 5 to 2. So the person went in and told him, I'm here. Okay. So they called me in. I sat in there and he was doing his bhajan. I asked him some question. He gave a great answer. And then he said, go, you take prasad. He said, I have to go someplace else. So I sat outside and took prasadam, and it was like fabulous prasadam, incredible prasadam. And then I was sitting there and I was watching as the Vaishnavas would come in, and I was watching literally everyone is falling over each other to like pay obeisances and glorify people. It was like, and then I went to wash my mouth after, and when I came back, he kind of came running out of his kutir with like a plastic bag and a white Peshmiri chadar and opened it up and like threw it over me, hugged me, thanked me so much for coming. Vaishnav, very beautiful thing. We have to be Vaishnavs. So he quotes Gita, Sarva Bhuta Stitangyo Mang Bhajati Ekatvam Astita Sarvata Vartamano Pi Sayogi Maya Vartate. The devotee who is equal to all and forsaking all differences adores me, the one who dwells in every element, he always resides in me. Gita 6:31. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na panasyami sacha me na panashyati. The one who sees me in every element and sees every element in me, we continuously gaze upon each other. That's a Gita 6:30. There is no existence other than God. He is the cause of all, and he is the ingredient of every element. He is present in all living beings as the witness. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagada vyakta murtina. I'm present throughout creation in my unmanifested form. Then he quotes from the Vishnu Purana. O Daityas, all creation is expansion of Vishnu. Therefore, we must consider everybody as our own. This sort of perception is God adoration. Having embarked in bhajan, if we are not aware that God exists in every element, we shall met out differential treatment to others. This will lead to envy and violence. We shall lose concentration in bhajan. When we envy someone, we envy Bhagavan, for is not everyone within him? And is he not within all? This means we are worshiping and envying the same person. Interesting. God is in one. So you're worshiping God and you're abusing his people. So it's the same. So you're worshiping, you're what does he say? You're worshiping and envying the same person. Forget hurting a Vaishnav. The lowly man who hurts any being adores Vishnu and tortures his subject. His worship is in vain and he eventually dies miserably. He is not aware that Vishnu exists in every element. This means he thinks Vishnu is a material being. It is as if he massages a Brahman's feet with one hand and bangs a stone on his head with the other. That's from Chaitanya Bhagavat. He's quoting. So let us realize that he exists in every element. If we do not respect each and every soul, we are hurting him whom we are worshiping. This sort of bhajan is futile. Bhagavatam also says, and it doesn't quote it, I dwell in every being as a witness. Those who ignore me, thus situated in every being, and worships me in various forms, such as the deity. Wait, I don't understand. I can't understand this. Oh yeah, who ignores me in every living being, and then worships me in various forms of deity. It's embarrassing. It's kind of like if there's like a relationship and like the husband and wife are very nice with each other outside, and then when they get inside, either the husband abuses the wife or the wife abuses the husband. So he said that, I've heard this, but that's like deity worship. It's pretentious, and it means you're actually abusive. You're not worshiping. And it says the same if you go to the deity and you worship, and then you go outside and mistreat the devotees or others, you're actually, it's not, your worship is not accepted. There's one funny story of one temple, and I know, and this temple was like 25 years under I can't explain what the leadership was. He was a good businessman, but hated the devotees. and the funny way how he became, you see, he became a pujari initially. So he was doing book distribution. Then he went to his temple president. This is the beginning of his career, and said, "I don't want to do book distribution. I want to worship the deity." He said, "Why?" "Because I can't stand anyone." In other words, he couldn't stand people, so he wanted to worship the deity, right? And he continued to worship the deity and couldn't stand people. It was unbelievable. It went on for so many years. It was just, finally. If you ignore me as situated in all elements, the witness and controller of every being, and worship me in various forms such as the deity, you are only pouring ghee and ashes. If you disregard living beings and worship me, although with many ingredients, I am not pleased. So it is your duty to be aware that I am present in all elements, be impartial and friendly to all, and adore everyone with hospitality and respect. This does not mean that we should not worship the deity. Of course we must worship the deity, But at the same time, we must be aware that he's present in all elements. We should love and respect every being, otherwise our puja is lost labor. So now you see, we started out to love God, and we were committing a grave mistake right at the onset. Indeed, it's unfortunate. I love God, yet I envy and hate the one in whom he resides. Does this not imply that I have not exceeded in loving him? If someone asks us, how much does this mango weigh? Shall we weigh it after disregarding its seed and peel? Similarly, when we consider God, we must consider all living beings along with him. The one who knows Krishna's Sarup, okay, we performed love, sadhana. Will our love remain confined to just one kunj? Then it's very narrow love indeed. But this, Raganuga Bhakti, you're just worshiping Radha Krishna, that's your love? But this is not true. When a single spark of this love enters us, we realize love within each molecule, nay, each atom. This love is so magnificent that we should be careful not to minimize it. So the bard has sung. O mind, you did not bow your head at every foot. Do you not realize the treasure of heart dwells amidst all? Bhagavan is in every being, and he is the same. You puffed up and insulted others. O my foolish mind, did you not know your priceless beloved Krishna exists in so many forms? Do you not know? If you desire him, if you have any wish to get him, make everyone your own, beg at his or her feet and love all. If you cannot do it, your sadhana and bhajan are worthless. Consider yourself fallen. You will gain from it. You will get his lotus feet, intoxicate your heart, and beg prem. Otherwise, you only come and go, roam around in the cycle of birth and death, and never gain the priceless treasure called love. And that's the end of the song. We cannot avoid this point in our sadhana. We should love Bhagavan and not love our fellow man. Then we can be sure that we shall never love Bhagavan. If we really love Bhagavan, we shall love his creation as well. I dislike or envy my fellow man and say I love Bhagavan. Most definitely I'm a liar. On the other hand, if I don't serve Bhagavan and say service to mankind is the topmost dharma, I am verily a cheat. When we experience him as the one present in all and all present in him, then we are Bhagavan's bhaktas, God lovers. Srimad Bhagavatam defines the best devotee as he who experiences Bhagavan in every element, perceives all objects in him as the best devotee. And the Gita agrees with that statement. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavamam prapadyate. After many lifetimes, a wise devotee realized that Vasudeva is everything. Such a great soul is rare. There's nothing other than him. Advayam Gyan Tattva, Sri Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. The more we realize it, the more we move away from hate and envy. We relish divine ras more and more. When we develop this bhav, all will appear nice and we will like everyone. We will go beyond good and bad, happiness and sorrow, and submerge in the ocean of Krishna prema. Although lotus leaves touch the water, they never get wet. Similarly, the good and bad, justice and injustice in this material world will not affect the sadhana anymore. Okay, so for today, I think we're going to stop there. Jamunajaya, do you have any point you like today?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I hope you can hear me well. I'm in a
Wait,
stairwell.
Wait. What point? Okay.
Oh wow. Hi everybody. Hare Krishna. Terrible. I'm gonna have to rewind and listen to that song and write it out because I'm gonna sing that song every day. I mean, the major point here is that I've heard somebody once say, if you love the parent, you have to love the child. If we say we love God, if we say we love Krishna, we have to love his children. That's everyone. And this point makes it so it's in every molecule, and that I forget what the one part of the song said, then your worship is nothing but ash and dust. It's such an important point to remember that we can have our Sanskrit perfectly right and doing the puja right, but if there's not love in our heart for the devotees, then it's not really showing love to Krishna. So I love that point, and it's so important for us to always remember. So thank you, Maharaj, because this is such a beautiful lesson in this.
Thank you, Jivanajaya. That's great.
Thank you,
Uh,
Raj.
it not only says the devotees, it says everyone. It's pretty demanding.
Everyone. Yeah.
That's why it says that the process is simple, the application is difficult, because anyone can do it, but you have to want to do it. Okay,
Yeah.
anyone else want to say hello today?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Gail,
Yeah,
any questions?
no, I just appreciated your contrasting the two Sanskrit words, aparad and upasana. I never
You
heard
never
them
heard that?
mentioned.
Yeah, upper,
In the,
rad, distant from worship,
yeah,
upasana,
I
near
mean,
sit.
I've heard their meanings, but
Oh, contrasting them.
yeah,
Okay,
like
great.
that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Anyone else say hello today?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Tota Gopinath here. So great to hear from you.
Okay, Tota. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Haribo.
Yavasunga is here. Yeah. Thank you very
Okay.
much for the class.
I got,
Maharaj,
you
yeah.
can. What were you
Yeah.
going to
Is
say?
it any possibility that we talk to you?
Yeah,
Together
yeah.
the class?
You can talk to me after the class, 15 minutes after the class. Call me on WhatsApp, okay?
Is that possible for tomorrow, Maharaj?
Tomorrow you can call me earlier, okay?
The same time of the class?
Oh, okay. Wait, because it's much earlier there, right?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
Okay, what time is it now? Okay, it's
At this moment, it's 5 o'clock.
it's 5, huh? Okay, you can call me at wait. Okay, you can call me you can call me now, okay?
After
You-
class, you mean?
Tomorrow you I don't tomorrow I'll give
Tomorrow this time. Okay. Tomorrow this time.
yeah, tomorrow at this time you can call me, okay?
Okay, it's 5:15 here. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much,
By the
Maharaj.
way, Siddheshwari got a 1-year multiple entry visa. Amazing.
For India?
Yeah, it's impossible from Iran to do that, but
Yeah.
she
But
got
she's
a
not
whole.
in Iran anymore, Maharaj.
It was harder because she wasn't in Iran, but it was a whole
Really?
story. But she's pretty. She's going to come here for over a month for the first time.
Oh, that's lovely. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anybody
thank
else
you
say
very much.
hello?
Thank you.
Hare
Anybody
Krishna
else say hello?
Maharaj, it's Yvette. Good to see you. Thank you for class.
We'll see you here in Brudge soon. Okay.
Yes. Mhm. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Anybody else?
Hi, Krishna Maharaj, Shri Rupa. So good to see you.
Oh, Haribo. Okay. That was a nice function for your mother, wasn't it?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was more than I could have ever hoped for.
What a feast. Wow. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, it's Logovinda.
And Praja, thank you for class.
Okay. Great to see you guys. Okay. We'll
Yeah,
see
thank
you
you.
here. Well,
Yes, yes.
we're
By your
preparing.
mercy.
We're preparing a room in the Govardhan Hilton. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is
Okay.
Krishnamrita. Thank you so much for the class. I see that we can't
Okay.
pretend that we love every human being or every being at all before we really love God. So otherwise
Okay.
it will be something
Okay.
not
Thank you.
natural. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. I'm just looking at all the names so I know which people were in the class. Okay,